everyone. Welcome back to Basic Binges on the Nom Doc Network. I'm Catrina, and I will be your guest host for this episode while Sabina spends a little time off planet. Today, we're going to be talking about episode 4 of the Book of Boba Fett. We'll just go around and start with Wendy Lee Szany. Let's hear a little bit about you. How are you? What you up to?
Oh, thanks. Hi, everybody. Like Catrina said, I am Wendy Lee Szany. I am a host, content creator, film critic in LA, and honestly trying to just catch up on my sleep schedule after the Book of Boba Fett, because we stay up, obviously, watching it, just so we can get our eyes on it before I go into the internet and get things spoiled for me. And so my sleep schedule is a little bit off, but I'm super excited to be here to talk to everybody about the latest episode of the Book of Boba Fett.
Yay! Returning again, my friend Michael J. Lee. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much. And as Catrina said, I'm Michael J. Lee, and I am a writer, critic, and editor for various sites like Back at LA, We Live Entertainment, and The Nerds of Color.
Sweet. And then Whitney, I'm so sorry I didn't ask you before the show, but I don't know how to pronounce your last name. So to you to introduce yourself, and again with apologies.
Oh, no, you're good. I'm Whitney Alos, like Alas, Whitney. Yeah, and I'm an artist and themed culinarian. So I like to combine, all of my nerdy obsessions into culinary arts, like edible art. So. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here. We have so many cool things to talk about.
Yes.
Oh, yes. This episode and I think last episode were both really good episodes for food in the Book of Boba Fett. So there's a lot of scenes where that's involved, and I'm really excited to get into it. But before we start, let's just get like general impressions of the episode and what you guys are feeling now that we're at episode 4. Let's start with Whitney.
Yeah, so there's a lot to cover, but I'm just really excited to see where this is going to go, especially with, spoiler, with that ending. It's setting so much up, and I'm so freaking excited. And I mean, there's so many possibilities, and just seeing like Chrysanthemum and that whole scene was just, it's amazing. I'm excited. I have a lot of theories, so.
TNT. I'm so excited. Awesome. Wendy, how are you feeling?
I really enjoyed this previous episode, considering that episode 3 for me, it was fine. It wasn't bad. I know people are kind of like a little about the Vespa and the gangs and the mods. But this one really picked up its energy for me in the sense that we are also slowly starting to catch up with his flashbacks. So, we get a little bit more detail as to him and Fennec's, evolving friendship and partnership. And I'm just such a fangirl for Ming-Na. So more of Fennec Shand, even though I know it's a Boba Fett show, more of Fennec Shand is always great for me. And I think that's partly the reason why I really enjoyed this episode. But I don't want to get too deep into it, but I really sat back and I just had fun. I just had fun sitting back and enjoying watching this episode.
Nice. And Michael?
I'm going to kind of have to echo like basically everyone here, because episode 3 was kind of a filler episode to me. It just didn't do much for me at all, and it introduced all the Vespa characters, and that was pretty cool, but overall it didn't do anything. So it was nice for it to actually pick up some pace, and then it felt like it was actually going somewhere. And overall it just felt like it's finally matching up in real time, because like Wendy was saying, we got to see all these flashbacks, and there's a sense that, you're not going in the back to tank anymore. So it's like, okay, I guess there's no more flashbacks. So yeah, but I can't wait to see where it goes next. So I'm very excited.
Yeah, absolutely. And then going back to Fennec, like, I was very excited to have a lot more time with her this episode, because I mean, it really goes into like why she's such an important player with in this particular like dynamic of this family. Is that like at the very end of the day, she's there now by choice. she's there because she believes in what Boba's attempting to do, and she wants to see how it's going to play out. So I think it added a whole lot to her character and her path. So yeah, I mean, let's go ahead and start talking with a little discussion about Fennec, and then we'll get into all of my super boring bullet points. Let's start with Wendy this time.
So with Fennec, obviously, you know, all of us here probably have, and as the viewers as well, probably already have watched season 1 and 2 of The Mandalorian. So where we first met Fennec, and immediately I was like, first of all, when they announced it was going to be me not playing, I was like, I don't care if she's bad guy or good guy, I am already a fan and I'm rooting for her no matter which side she falls on. And it just so happens that like her character just looks extra cool. But what I really thought was cool was we knew the state of her where Din left her essentially to die, and that we know that Boba Fett picks her up and got her fixed up. But how did it actually happen? So we got to see it from their POV and her experience, you know, and I think that kind of filled in the blanks for everybody else because we were so quickly introduced to the mods in the last episode, but there's a whole kind of culture lifestyle there that exists, you know, because it looks very Coruscant-y to me, but it exists on the outskirts of Mos Eisley, as they were saying. So going to see Boba Fett taking her to a mod parlor and knowing that exists, which makes total sense to me that it would exist, and being introduced to in that way was really cool. And to see how Fennec's thought of her current lifestyle and her career choice, if you will, she kind of starts to see it in a different way, because I think she sort of was tunnel vision, like, we're hunters, this is what we do, you know, and if I die because other people are hunting me, then this is the way. But talking with Boba Fett, and you know, after everything he's been through, I really enjoy seeing her kind of turn that around, because technically she could have left after getting, you know, Slave One back for him. And she's like, well, I think I'm going to stick around because I think he's got an interesting plan, and I never really thought my career going this way, but I could, you know, because she could dip anytime she wants to. She'd be like, look, it's too much, I'm out. And she can be out. And I don't think he'd be like, you can't leave. So I really enjoy just them kind of giving us a more rich backstory on the both of them.
Nice, absolutely. Yeah, Whitney?
Yeah, I mean, basically, yeah, mirror everything she just said. But I mean, it was really cool to see the backstory and seeing her in the mod shop and being introduced to that. You know, this kind of like cool, kind of like different side of Star Wars that we don't see often, and seeing what it's like. It was almost kind of like a tattoo parlor, but it was like for different like mods, and it was just like a lot of fun to watch. But anyway, seeing her backstory and seeing how she was healed and her relationship with Boba forming, and it was really insightful. And she really treasures her freedom, so her kind of sticking around with Boba speaks volumes, you know, because this is someone that you can tell that she's starting to trust and just honor.
Yeah. And Michael, did you have anything to say?
Just a few more things. Yeah. I especially liked when she gets revived, I guess, so to speak, and she starts to see who Boba is, sort of, and just Boba's dead, so to speak, sort of thing. That's what I was pretty excited about, because it sort of establishes that repertoire, that whole rapport, the thing. Oh, you know, Boba's no longer here. There's that sort of claim to who's the top bounty hunter out there, sort of thing. So that's what I kind of like. Oh wow! So there's some new dynamics going on, basically, that I was kind of interested in seeing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's interesting. It's just like, you know, Boba, technically he's like retirement age, and he is retiring, and he's just like, it's like when someone retires and they're like, I just want to, like, you know, spend my 60s and 70s, I don't know, curating a museum or something, you know, like something really chill like that. It's like, that's not chill. You're doing another job. You have another job is what you're doing right now. But sure, whatever. Like
I've been bounty hunting for 30 years. You know, I'm just going to, you know, form my own house. No big deal, you know, just...
Everybody knows that when they're at this age. But yeah.
It's a natural projection of a life of a bounty hunter's life.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I going back to like the cyborgs, I thought that the way that it was elaborated on in this episode was really cool too, because it's kind of like it's like a subculture of Tatooine, and it's a lot like, you know, tattoo culture. Like it's cool to see inside the shop and like how you can see in these like silent interactions and the way these people use their cybernetics, like how they kind of feel about it. So even though that scene, like I've seen some criticism that it was like drawn out or whatever, I thought it said a whole lot about like this subculture in Star Wars that like maybe we'll see again someday.
Yeah.
To throw a little thing in about the chop shop, like being like a tattoo. What was that? Boba was saying like you don't want to cover that up. You know, like, you know, that's the whole tattoo culture. You don't want to cover any of that up. You want to show, you want to show everything, how proud you are and everything. This is something that's really cool. So yeah.
It was cool because that whole scene, there was like practical effects, so it was cool to see that. It definitely gave me like a very like early 2000s hacker scene, you know, like with the music and the practical effects.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And I just love like that whole subculture on Tatooine, because like you see a lot of these things in the Outer Rim that like you don't necessarily we didn't get to see in like the clean era of like Clone Wars and stuff. And so like spending time with Mando and Boba Fett in these two shows kind of shows us this like gritty part of Star Wars that I'm really enjoying without being too gritty. So
yeah,
nice.
Did anyone think once, you know, Fennec had recovered and she woke up and she was taking a sip out of the black melon, like, can she still consume food? How does that work? Because it's all stomach stuff. So is there like, I was just, and it's so like, of course they don't need to explain it. Yeah. And I'm not going to be one of those like, oh, the show sucks because that doesn't make sense. It's like, no, I don't need it to make sense. It's Star Wars. Yeah. But also the other side of my brain's like, but what about like, can she go? Because they had all that food on the table in the last episode. I was
go to the bathroom now.
He's eating, but like, is there still a part of her stomach or just front parts of his mod? I'm very curious, just for my own.
I was too. I was like waiting for them to address it when she was like drinking from the black melon to like maybe see it like squirt out of her stomach or something.
That would be amazing. I think we talked about it a little bit.
Like these little vents going on off.
Yeah. I think we talked about it last episode just a little bit, but like, what do we think black melon like tastes like? Because it seems really popular. It's like almost as popular as blue milk now on Tatooine.
First of all, I feel like it'll be before long before Disneyland Galaxy's Edge starts selling a form of like water thing, and it's the black melon. I found it interesting because when he popped it open this time, the little puff of like powder came on, which I was like, okay, really cool. I feel like it would taste like, and I would have no idea how this tastes like because I've never tried it, but I feel like I've seen it around. Like it would taste like charcoal activated charcoal water, whatever that may taste like.
Well, he kind of makes it sound like it is an acquired taste because he was like, oh, after a while, don't worry, you'll start craving it even, you know? So it's obviously not like delicious upon first taste, you know?
Right.
Right.
It's one of those like those survival drinks.
Yeah,
the survival drinks. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm waiting for that. I saw over in the chat, Catherine E91 said, based on flashbacks, I was kind of bummed that their dialogue indicated they hadn't known each other previously, and brought up the Bad Batch, and like that's something that like I'm also wondering in relation to Fennec and Boba and Omega, because clearly Fennec knows what the clones look like. Clearly she knows, she's had that interaction with Omega, and so I'm wondering if like, you know, maybe that familiarity also played into her decision to like stay with Boba, you know?
oh, I wonder, just maybe it's one of those after the war, because they got a war to worry about right now. She'll sit down and be like, so have you heard of Omega? Like, I'm waiting for the drop to happen, because you're absolutely right. And I was talking about this with my husband after the episode ended last night.
Mhm.
You know, she's gotta know what a clone trooper or a stormtrooper, like with the clones, what they would look like. She's fought with the Bad Batch. So even though they all have their, you know, very much identifiable personality and physical traits, they still are essentially clones of Boba Fett. And so, like, are they gonna drop it very last episode in a post-credit scene, and then we'll just have to wait for whatever future shows if they decide to give us another Boba Fett season 2 or something? I don't know, but
Yeah.
I'm waiting for that to come up.
The thing that I saw floating around today was that in Star Wars Insider, they're saying that Bad Batch is coming in spring. And so I feel if there's any kind of connector between these shows and that one, having to do with specifically with Fennec, we're going to see that happen like one after the other or something like that. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. I don't know. But then again, you know, these, when you make a TV show, you don't really get to plan when it's going to happen. So maybe, who knows?
Yeah. I just do hope that before the whole season is over, that we get some sort of acknowledgement that she knows a little something about Kamino as well.
Yeah. So like kind of what Bo Katan was saying back in Mandalorian, like, I've seen your face before, you know, things like that. You're just a clone and stuff. So.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Michael.
About it.
Yeah. You wanted to say something?
No.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll just move on then. So, as we near the talk of food, I have to talk about all of the droids in this episode. It was one of my favorite things in this episode was watching all of the droid work, because it's really cool to be back in Boba's palace and see some familiar faces. When Boba and Fennec sneak into Jabba's palace in the flashback sequence, one of the first characters we see is EV-99, who was Jabba's chief of cyborg operations. And if you remember, she's also the one who like assigned 3PO and R2 like their jobs at Jabba's palace. So it's cool to see her again, even though we may have also seen her demise. Or at least like a unit like hers.
Yeah, that was really cool. It's a nice treat for the fans who, you know, remember. I feel like at this point, if you're watching the Boba Fett show, you probably have been exposed to at least all the Star Wars films at least once. So it was really cool to give these droids a little extra highlight. One of the comments that I saw on my YouTube video was with the Ginsu knife or the cleaver droid, what they call them. Because I made a comment when we were watching, I was like, "Oh, it reminds me of General Grievous, but with
yes,
nice." And they're like, "Do you mean General Grievous?" I'm like, "Oh,
wow!" I did not even think.
That was,
it was definitely like a Grievous thing, and I was waiting for that, you know, that Indiana Jones moment where it was just like, you know, Fennec was just gonna come up and like shoot him in the head or something, and she did her deed. So I knew. It was a good overall. It was just like a great sequence with the two of those characters. And I just love the droids in this show are just like every single one of them is so delightful. And speaking of delightful droids, if you guys are all good with those, I would like to talk about the rabbit droid in this episode. That is it's an LEP series service droid. I'm sure LEP has like a longer acronym breakdown, but it's also a nod to the like Lepi species that are basically like giant rabbit people in Star Wars. Yeah, so so it's like a bunny droid, and these droids have actually shown up in the Clone Wars and I think Bad Batch, right? Like I can't remember actually, but they're really cute, and it was really cool to see what looked like when it was running. You could tell it wasn't a practical effect, but again, this droid, when we had those still shots, was definitely a practical effect.
Yeah, it was really cool because
cutest.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Whitney.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I was just saying, yeah, it was really cool because it definitely reminds me of like the style of, you know, the older original films and like the kind of like, you know, kind of like more of the practical effects, the actual droids. So it was pretty dope to see.
Yeah, and I just loved the entirety of that kitchen scene. Like I love it when we see these cool like badass heroes in Star Wars, just like they're just like dorky dudes, and then they like, you know, they recover and they look badass, and that's what's badass about them is like they have those multiple sides. So it was cool to see Boba just like chasing this little rabbit droid around the kitchen.
Come back here, where'd you go?
I know. Oh my god. Like that's another thing I want on Batu is like one of those rabbit droids now, because clearly I have a problem with collecting droids. They're like all over the place.
On a total random sidebar, what's been your favorite thing that you've picked up from Batu?
Ooh, my Asajj Ventress lightsabers from Doc Ondar's. They don't sell them there anymore, so
no, they
like
don't.
The dual sabers that they sold there. That was like the one thing I wanted from Galaxy. I have like a bunch of other stuff. My friends bought me. They always buy me like loaf cats. So I have those two, and I have the loaf cat from Galaxy's Edge. But yeah, those lightsabers.
Wow, I like how you have them displayed. It was such a subtle like, oh, you mean these back here? And I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, I love them. They're my pride and joy. I have like other lightsabers that I haven't mounted on the wall yet, but that one's like my favorite buy, and then I made the droid up there at Droid Depot, and so that I would say is my like second favorite.
So cute. I would love if they were to able one day to offer different types of, you know, droids at the Droid Depot, like more than just like the R2s and the T8s. Like maybe they can give us a rat catcher, you know, LEP droid. Like so cute. Would 100% take one.
Oh my gosh.
They're so cute. I just love their little droid bellies. I want to cry. Yeah, I want one so bad. Like they're so freaking cute, and they like it's just like, especially with this one on screen, it was cool to see that mixture of prequel era design in a sequel era like setting, and like it's all gridded up and stuff, but it still like kind of moves like a prequel droid would. And so I just like I'm obsessed with that freaking rabbit droid.
Me too. I turned over to my boyfriend and I was like, I want one of those.
I want one real bad. Like if they're smart, they're gonna release
cash in on it.
Honestly, there are like way too many cute things in this show, like from the Rancor to the droid.
I want this cute little stuffed Rancor, like a little baby Rancor.
Oh,
I love it. I love how much Boba loves animals.
Yeah. Talking to the banthas, talking about find other banthas to make baby banthas.
That whole scene, I was like,
go make baby banthas, yes.
The bantha at some points was also practical, was it not?
Yeah, like the tail wagging and everything, and even its face looked. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. During
especially when it was eating, I think when it was
during the dinner scene, that was like a practical effect for the bantha and stuff. It was just so cute. Like I love how much Boba loves like animals and like abandoned things, because it's just like people are like, oh, it's so cute and adorable, and I'm like, yeah, it's because he has abandonment issues and wants to take care of animals because he was left alone.
I never made that connection until just now.
Exactly.
It's
like
true.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a deep,
He's collecting them like he's collecting Pokemon.
Exactly. It's animals and people every single time. Boba is making a collection. He did this back in the Clone Wars with all those bounty hunters that he like adopted as his aunties and uncles, you know? So he's just doing this again, and then he's also going to build a zoo.
I love it.
Retirement plans.
It won't be Boba Fett's palace. It'll be Boba Fett's menagerie.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He's a crime syndicate and an entrepreneur. Come to Tatooine and all-you-can-pet menagerie.
Exactly. He adopted some kids. He's got some exotic animals. There's like a scary lady that's kind of like running the place. Like,
Yeah.
he's got it all. They could make an entirely different Disney movie with this entire setup here if they just changed a little about about what
Done. Disney, are you listening? We have the next show idea for you.
Exactly. Life Day at Boba's. A family holiday special.
This holiday.
Exactly.
Bring the family.
He's serving up dinner for the whole family.
He's got a buffet. He can do it all. We've seen it.
I love it. I love it so much. Yeah, I mean, we saw a little bit of it's so weird because like we saw the full like uneaten buffet last episode, but like a lot of the stuff we saw was like finished by the time we got to that scene. Like Boba let everybody eat dinner before he was like, well, so this is how it's gonna work.
Mhm.
Also, like, what a power move to have it like the table right above the Rancor pit and nonchalantly like, oh, he's just hungry. So where were we? Are you with me? Or, you know?
Exactly. And it's, you know what, a testament to how well Danny Trejo is training that Rancor, because that little guy was quiet the whole time with all that food above his head. So go
Right on cue too. It's like if I do this at the right moment, I'm gonna get a treat.
Just like waiting below, like listening to the conversation, you know?
Now.
Waiting for that key word, basically. When Boba says this, I'm gonna go up there.
Exactly. Boba's in the middle of dinner and he's like, Fennec, let's make sure we take a WALK later on today. You know what that means, right? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Can't say the word walk because then the Rancor will notice it.
Yeah.
Start shaking the whole palace. You know what would have been a boss move is he was, had the table set up where he's set up, gets up to kind of do the kind of Oren Ishii sort of like walk around the table so I can get up out of my seat and talk. And when they don't agree with him, he drops all of them into the Rancor pit.
Yeah, the whole table just like
just be like, I mean, I gave you you must know Jabba was known for this.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
Why would they expect anything?
Yeah. And they're just like so comfortable eating over what they should have noticed as the door to the Rancor pit.
Yeah.
Like if you scoot your chair back over those bars, aren't you gonna get like caught in the first place?
That too, yeah.
These people are too precise in the way they sit at tables.
Yeah.
Kind of sus.
Don't move your chair, basically.
Yeah. I think it was cool because like I don't know, something about that scene, even though it was like, at the dinner table and stuff, it had that hold of tension like over the group, like it was the way Fennec kind of controlled the room was like really cool to see, and another really good Ming-Na moment this episode as well.
Yeah. She did a lot of really awesome fighting too before they were sneaking back into the palace to get Slave One, and just Boba trying to fly Slave One, and she's trying to fend them. She's like, I got this, go. I'm like, right, she does have this. Headshot.
Exactly. She knew what she was doing. She just had to get there first. So that was awesome. That was like a really cool, it was like, if you think about it in order, it's like a really neat precursor to like that break-in The Mandalorian and how they like work together. So it's really neat to see that all start.
Yeah. The partnership was already there. I wonder if we're going to get just one more even though he's not back in the Bacta tank anymore since now he's healed, but if we were to get one more maybe dream flashback sequence of just how they talking about how they got to get the armor back, finding out that like Cobb Vanth had it, and then it ended up on Din's ship. I would just love to see how that plays out, even though we kind of see it from Din's side how it played out. I want to see it from Boba and Fennec's side.
I have like this really old joke that I've just been waiting, like ever since that whole thing happened. It was just like, Boba clearly knew where his armor was and that Cobb had it. And I just want to get to that one scene where like Cobb is like giving that speech to like the villagers and stuff, and he's like, the Krayt Dragon is attacking the village, it's attacking our cattle, it might even attack the schoolhouse. And then like over the hill, like Fennec is like, okay, are we gonna take the shot or are we gonna take the armor from him? And Boba goes, no, the schoolhouse needs that armor first. Like, let him do his thing. We're gonna wait until the crate dragon's gone and then we'll get the armor, you know?
Yeah. Potentially, if we get to see it.
Yeah. I want to know what made them stop, because like they were there. Like they were there. They clearly knew what the hell was going on. So I want to know what led to the decision to like wait until Mando had the armor and go after him instead. Maybe it was because Fennec knew him, but
yeah, maybe. Like I have a score to settle with this one anyway.
Yeah.
Kill two birds with one stone. Let's go.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, and I mean, like, if we're talking about Mando, this episode ended with a very interesting audio cue. Boba is looking to basically wage war against the Pikes, and he needs help. So, you think we're getting? What kind of help do you think we're getting next episode, guys?
Oh, I mean, with the musical cue, I think that's 100% confirmed. I mean, we don't know this, so it could be a red herring, but that'd be a mean one if they gave us the theme song. They're like, just kidding, Din's not coming.
Yeah.
I will only accept Cobb Vanth. That's it. If it's not Din, it's got to be Cobb Vanth.
Yes.
And otherwise, I'm just going to be mad and disappointed. So,
yeah. I do think.
Yeah, for sure.
If not next episode, then maybe the final two, or maybe at the very least the final episode, Din showing up. I don't know. People are speculating already, like, you know, because Din currently holds the last we saw him anyway, holds the dark saber, so he could technically order Bo-Katan to come with him, even though she kind of has some disdain for Boba Fett.
mm-hmm.
But that'd be cool. Like, I would not mind at all to see Fennec Shand and Katie Sackhoff share the screen. I think that'd be pretty BA.
Amazing, yes.
But I'm trying to think of anyone else that we know from whether previous shows or from the rest of the Star Wars universe could show up for the war.
Crimson Dawn, maybe?
There's theory. Yeah, I was just thinking there's theories that there's Crimson Dawn.
It'd be dope. Sakira, bring me Amelia Clark, please.
It would be cool to
that'd be a huge deep cut.
Yeah, and honestly, like it was between Crimson Dawn and Black Sun when like I first heard there was going to be some criminal syndicate in this, and so that would definitely be one of my picks. My outlandish pick is like I really want Bosk to still be alive, and I really want Boba to call Bosk, because that's like Bosk is like his uncle. So like it'd be so cool to see them reunite, not just as like, you know, a thing for me where like I'm very invested in their characters because of the Clone Wars, but also kind of as an homage to like that, you know, arrangement that the Vader had in Empire Strikes Back with the two of them and Dengar and stuff. But yeah, I mean, obviously it's going to be somebody from Mando, if not Mando himself, and whoever else. I'm really excited for more Santi.
Yeah.
Santi Claus.
Yeah. So good. That I guess we hadn't talked about him yet, but I wasn't expecting to see him again so quickly in this episode. I love it. And the presence is so imposing and intimidating, and just him sitting back watching the rest of the Trandoshans, you know, gambling their money away, and just he's getting angrier and angrier, and I was like, is he gonna do the Wookiee thing where he goes is he gonna do
Rips their arm off? Like Han wasn't
Star
joking,
Wars if
you know?
someone didn't lose an arm. Let's be real.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, I'm so glad we could just then. Oh, go on. I'm sorry, Michael. I think I cut out. Go for it. Sorry.
No. I was going to say I'm glad we got to see more of him, because it was just. I thought honestly we weren't going to see as much with such depth. Like he's failed so many times thus far, and he's like, I can't stand this anymore, and. Just to see it drinking away, basically, that was pretty it was pretty interesting to see.
Yeah.
It's cool to see him kind of joining up now with Boba, like in the comics. So now they're just going to be, together. He's part of the tribe now. So it'll be kind of cool to see his character arc hopefully develop more too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm glad we're actually like having a real character arc for him, because we haven't really spent a lot of time with other Wookiees in Star Wars canon, and so having Black Chrysanthemum be like a full-fledged character is kind of nice. Like, it's a refreshing take on a character that could have otherwise just been like a monster, whatever, but
Yeah.
he has like, he makes his choices. He stopped and listened to Madame Garza like throughout her whole like, her freaking like what, like 8d6 roll on like convincing
Charisma
like,
roll.
I like listened to that and I was like, did the DM just like ask her to really just go for it and like role play her conviction and then just like roll and go like,
didn't save.
No, and that was like an average roll, so no,
just
you didn't
barely
save, but like, there's no giant.
I mean, he listened. He stopped for that second when she was like, it's
Yeah.
cruel, and he was like, "Yeah, thank you for hearing me out and understanding." And he's like, "I'm still doing it though.
I'm
But
still doing
thank
it.
you."
Like, I'll give you your time. Like, I respect your establishment. I'm still gonna rip his arm off though.
He's like,
She tried.
Yeah, it was good. I'm glad we're actually getting like some real time with the side or the supporting cast in this show, and even though it's a short show, we're actually getting like worthwhile time to establish like their wants and what their goals are separately too. So
Yeah.
it's really cool.
This is, I imagine, now that everything's been set up, war is coming. The first wave of the Pikes have arrived on Tatooine or on Mos Espa.
Mm-hmm.
I always want to say Mos Vespa because that's kind of what I've named the boat, the mod gang. So I keep calling them. I'm trying to remember to call the location Mos Espa. But I think we're leading up to. I think we have 3 more episodes left, right? It's a 7-episode show, I believe. I could be wrong, but I think from here on out, it's maybe longer episodes, like, and this is all guessing, like 50 minutes maybe, average. And we're just gonna get, just hopefully appearances. And I know it's not all about appearances because I think the characters we have been introduced to already, and they have, given us a bit more backstory on them. I really enjoy them, kind of what they've done with Chrysanthemum, what they've done with Fennec, or more Fennec is always great to me, but rumor has it, and I don't know how true this is, that Filoni is set to direct an episode coming up. And if that is true, then I don't know how she would fit in. Maybe because they've crossed paths in the Bad Batch, could be Cad Bane. And I would lose my mind if we get a live action Cad Bane.
My gosh, dude! Like if that's the thing, Cad Bane is the Punisher bounty hunter that people want Boba to be. He was Boba's, like, even though he like beat Boba's ass, he was one of Boba's like idols growing up as a bounty hunter, like, because he was efficient, he was cool. Like, you didn't play around with Cad Bane, you didn't joke with Cad Bane. Like, if you tried to play around with him, he'd just kill you. So like that, I would kill for that, especially because of like all the nice like space western undertones that they're like really pumping into Mando and Boba Fett. So
and like Fennec and Cad Bane again cross paths in the Bad Batch. So would you guys lose your mind if she was like, let me film with friend because we need muscles. Let me call. I guess you can't call all of the Bad Batch because we don't know Crosshair where he stands, but we can have a Wrecker, we could have a Hunter, we could have an Echo and a I'm forgetting one, the Donatello.
That would really I don't know how quickly I don't know how quickly the Bad Batch like
they're old
is because like the clones
they'd be like Rex old when we saw Rex in Rebels.
He's
Rebels,
like equivalent to 60s and stuff, gray and white. So it would still be cool to see other clones or at least Fennec like acknowledging that connection, like you had said before. It'd be really neat. I also think that like if they're all banding together, we can also think of the people that like Chrysanthemum knows, A lot of folks have brought up Dr. Aphra throughout this series, and I think it's a great opportunity just to bring her in, because I would love to see her in live action. I don't know what she'd do necessarily for Boba, but if he has the right money, she'll be there.
Yeah. He's got enough credits, he said, to hire anyone he wants.
No?
And Din could bring some friends too, and he, I'm sure, has some sort of connection with tons of other people.
Oh yeah.
Mandalorians, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if Bo Katan has a reason to not want the Pikes to get powerful, that could be. But these are all really good ideas. I think we should all take them to Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
Pull out the whiteboard. Let's go.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
go.
Right
Pitch
under
meeting.
dinosaurs. Great.
Elevator pitch right now.
Right?
I love it so much. Yeah, and I mean, like, overall, I really enjoyed this episode. It had, I think there was a nice balance after, like, what I would say are like two really heavy emotionally episodes, two very serious episodes. This one was like a little bit more refreshing. We still got all of that character building and work and story that I love in Star Wars, but it was also like a little more lighthearted in between all the threatening, sad stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I just keep thinking about too, during the episode, they have to kind of, before he was set up in palace, kind of have to hunt and search for his own food. So they would eat, like, what did he call it? Scurrier, and was like on a stick, and they were barbecuing that.
Oh yeah,
some sort of an animal, and I'm just like, would that taste good? Would it taste like our equivalent of chicken?
Yeah.
Or is
well,
it
I mean,
gamey?
we talked a little bit about
It looked like it.
Yeah. It looks a little gamey. Like I mean, you spice and salt the right things. You season things the right way, and you can make almost anything taste good. So
that's true. It's very true. When in doubt, spice.
Just
exactly.
Spices. Yeah.
So you just got a piece of chicken. Guess what? If you have a cabinet full of spice, that's yeah.
That's it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was that's also like something that was really cool seeing this episode, is just like that the prep and kitchen and stuff that the droids work in to prep for Boba was really neat. So I think like leeks and onions being cut by the chef droid.
Yeah, that's what it kind of looked like.
Yeah, space leeks, space onions. Something like that.
Space
onions. I'm gonna make a recipe calling for space onions.
Yeah, one of the things that was pointed out like last episode that I totally missed was that during like the chase scene, there's just been like a lot of really cool like food cameos in the Book of Boba Fett. So last episode of the chase scene, like what falls onto the car, as the classic like movie trope goes, is a big pile of Meiluron fruit.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so that appeared first in Star Wars Rebels, and now you can drink Meiluron juice at Galaxy's Edge. My favorite.
Wait, what?
Whoa, I didn't know that.
Hold the phone.
Oh my gosh. Last week we learned about Ronto wraps. This week we're learning about Meiluron.
Who didn't know about Ronto wraps?
Oh, Ronto wraps are amazing. I love
Ronto
them.
wraps.
So good. Breakfast wraps are my favorites.
Oh, so good.
Ronto wraps are great, but those breakfast wraps are just like
delicious.
Today. But juice is this like delicious like fruity blend, and it's got like just a little bit of a kick in it. I wouldn't recommend more than one, because I'm pretty sure it's like loaded with a pound of sugar.
Oh, okay.
But it's like so good.
I still want that spotchka wine.
Me too, dude.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that in Oga's?
Mm-hmm.
Is it?
Is it?
I don't know. I'm asking. I'm not sure.
No, I don't think they have any
Missed opportunity.
at Oga's yet.
Right?
Yeah, it's weird. It seems like such a common drink, right? Weird.
Yeah. I want to be able to walk into Galaxy's Edge and order, like, you talk about, obviously we have the green milk and the blue milk, but like they always talk about calf.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's probably just equivalent to coffee, but it's like nothing like that exists on the two when it could easily just literally could just be iced coffee. You can call it calf.
Throw that name on it, and I will buy it. You know?
Yeah, they used to enforce it on the signs when it first like opened, but then people were like, "What's calf?" And now,
oh my gosh,
yeah, the first like 2 weeks of Galaxy's Edge were magical, and then like humans ruined so much. Like they don't really call the bathrooms refreshers anymore because like people are like, "What's a refresher?"
Oh.
And then that spork debacle happened where like people kept stealing all the sporks and they don't have them anymore.
I remember that.
I am such a goody two shoes, not steal any sporks. And
did you hear about that, Michael?
Yeah.
No, I didn't hear about that.
At Docking Bay, what's the number? 47?
Docking Bay 7 or something?
Something like that, yeah.
They're like,
the utensils was like it's like half fork, half spoon. And it's really cool design, and you're supposed to like give it back, and people would just like pocket them. And so like, no one can have them unless you want to buy a set if it's available.
Yeah, it was cool. It was really cool.
It was cool while it lasted. And they were stealing not coasters, the menus from Oga's too.
Yeah, people were stealing menus.
What?
It was
the menus.
Yeah,
because the coasters I thought you could take home.
You can take the coasters because it's paper, but like, they would take the menu. I'm like, where are you hiding this, guys?
Ridiculous. Yeah, like you don't have.
Like, what are you gonna? What are you gonna use with this?
This is why we can't have nice things.
Exactly. All right. Well, before
thank you for ruining it, people.
Oh my god. All right, well, before we close up for the week, are there any other last-minute thoughts before the end of the episode?
Ooh. It was verified it was a Max Rebo band.
Hey. Yes, honor system.
To like invest in their own personal interest and self-perseverance so that the Pikes don't screw them over. And if we don't get a Din in episode 6 or 7, we riot.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us for this episode of Basic Binges. Let's go around about and just recap where you're from and where we can find you on the internet, starting with Whitney.
Cool. So you can actually find me on Instagram under Whimsical Whitney. You'll see a lot of like themed foods and all kinds of artsy stuff on there. So give me a follow.
Uh-oh.
No.
She went bye-bye.
She's like, all right, peace.
On our own.
Well, Michael, why don't you go next while we wait for her to come back?
Okay, so you can find me on all socials, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at I am Michael J. Lee. You'll see photos of pop culture, my dog, and other foods, and yeah.
I follow you only for the pictures of your dog.
Yeah.
Who is very, very cute.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding. I love you, Michael.
Bruno. So yeah, thank you.
Tiniest pup.
There we have.
She's back. She has appeared.
She's back.
Like we lost her.
I know, I like died for 2 seconds. I'm so sorry. Wendy, you were next, right?
Sure, I can go next.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me on. At my name, Wendy Lee Szany. You can find me right here on Twitch, twitch.tv/Wendy Lee Szany. I'm a variety streamer, a bunch of different random, mostly cozy, sometimes scary games, and on YouTube, The Movie Couple.
Yay. And I have been your guest host, Catrina. You can find me anywhere on the internet if you look for OHCATRINA. My other podcasts are Fight Club Far Far Away, Padro Pascal, and Ito Banta Tambien. Check them all out on my social media profiles somewhere on there. I'm also on medium.com where I publish sometimes super, sometimes spooky short stories. So yeah. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and have a great weekend. Catchphrase. Bye.
Bye.